Taking a team lead is a difficult and frustrating transition for data scientists. Not only are you responsible for work, but also leading, building, and motivating your team. It can be difficult, but a rewarding experience if you learn to and know the fundamental skills to lead and inspire. My name is Matt Bossa. I'm here today to talk about the skills data scientists need to lead a team and how to make that transition. Team leadership is different than a manager role, and it requires both practical, technical, and leadership skills. You're a leader and an individual contributor. You're a bridge. Today, I'll be exploring this topic. I will discuss the differences between a leader and a manager, as well as exploring ways you can lead data science teams. Then I'll delve more into ways to learn these skills. In the process, I hope to leave you with a path to make you a stronger team leader. So what's the difference between a manager and a data scientist leading a team? The difference is found in 4 common things: level of responsibility, project focus, the role they serve between groups, and how they advocate and who they communicate with. A data science team leader is someone who is responsible for a specific team within an organization. This team might be focused on tactical execution of projects. Authority and decision-making is limited to the tactical role assigned by their manager. Their role is to carry out larger data strategy as an individual contributor. The role can be technically focused. They are responsible for day-to-day tasks, but also for QAing, breaking down tasks, and mentoring a direct report's work. This requires familiarity of the tools, data, and tech, but more importantly, a firm grasp of the fundamentals. Data scientists who lead teams are also a bridge between management and their direct reports. They advocate for their direct reports' development and help get resources needed to complete their task, as well as engaging in small-scale people management. On the other hand, a manager focuses on broader responsibilities. The manager's responsibility is overseeing the operations of multiple teams. They serve as a bridge between the tactically focused contributors and the strategic focused managers such as directors or VPs. Their role is to enable logistics, either through administrative duties, project management, and budget management. They're more focused on the operational execution of data science projects, a step higher than the tactical focus of a data scientist leading the team. Overall, the main difference between a team leader and a manager is the scope of their responsibilities. A team leader focuses on the tactical management of a specific team, while a manager focuses on the operational management of multiple teams. But you're probably wondering, what skills does a new data scientist need leading a team? Technical skills, communication skills, and leadership. Let's discuss each a bit. The foundation of good leadership is knowledge and application, technical skills. As a senior contributor, you will not be doing pure people management. A lot of your work will include quality assurance, checking your reports' work, and improving on them. Tech skills are useful because it helps create a better data product, which is a key focus of a data science team leader. Tech skills is important for 5 key reasons. Number 1, understanding the work. A team leader needs technical skills to understand the work they are doing. This is necessary for providing effective guidance and timely support. This also helps in making snap decisions and providing clear instructions. You can easily assess the work that you've done and what needs to be done. It helps you plan. Number 2, effective collaboration. Learn to speak the language of the team you are working with. This is technical terms, organizational jargon, etc. It's very effective for translating business cases into technical requirements, which is a very rare and valuable skill as a team leader. It saves time and helps the team understand the value of the work and raises their morale. Even if you have a project manager, knowing how to translate makes workflows easier since collaboration and communication improves. Number 3, informed decisions. Tech knowledge can help you make better informed decisions. It increases the numbers of options available to you and your team. Moreover, it lets you recognize crucial opportunities and decisively seize them. It's very important in critical situations and helps you confidently pick the right path. Number 4, troubleshooting. Technical skills are essential for troubleshooting problems and providing support to team members. It's the difference between an ineffective and effective support. Even if you don't know the answer to the question, you still need to have tech knowledge to know what to search and what resources to request from your managers. And number 5, project management. All decisions and all projects take up resources. If you understand the technical complexity of different tasks, you make much more better and more informed decisions about how to allocate resources. Tech skills helps you be more precise and prioritize projects that are much more technically challenging. And remember, never be satisfied with your technical skill. Always ask, how can it be done better, and how can it be done more efficiently and effectively? With tech skills, to become a better leader, you must keep learning, sharpening, and practicing them in different ways. But tech skills mean little if you can't communicate. The ability to speak and write well, two essential tools of leadership. But what are core communication skills? There are 3 skills I find consistently useful. 1, breaking things down. 2, communicating intent. And 3, knowing how to collaborate with business users. You must keep your reports informed. Telling them the why, what, how builds their confidence. Number 1, breaking things down. As a team leader, you really need to break things down. This means being able to break complex concepts or project requirements down so that direct reports can understand. You must break down key components or elements of a concept or project requirement. Then be able to clearly define it and explain for your direct reports. This is important since it allows them to, understand the core elements of the task they're working on, take initiative to improve the task, and give them a chance to find clarifying questions and feedback. Breaking things down is also important if you really want to communicate or present to management. It's useful in presentations and helps measure the progress and success of your work. Intent's a bit of a harder concept. It's the overall goals and objectives that a team is trying to achieve, and it's the why behind a team's actions. It provides the overall direction and guidance for team members, and is very crucial and often not talked about enough. Team leaders must relentlessly communicate intent. They must also understand the larger intent of the project their team was assigned, and then translate it to the entire team or individual members. For reports, knowing intent helps focus the efforts and ensures the team members are working towards the same unified goal. Intent also builds trust between team members and the team leader, which is important if they are working towards a common goal and trying to take initiative individually to reach it. Communicating with diverse audiences. A data scientist leading a team will eventually need to talk with different people, with different ways of viewing data. Domain knowledge helps you bridge gaps between different audiences. It isn't just understanding of the tech, but also understanding of the business context, processes, and systems. And more importantly, how you use that tech to answer the problems. And it's quantifying the business impact and technical impact of the entire picture. Part of communication is translating back and forth between business and engineering teams. With engineering teams, you must relate it to technical importance. Translate the business needs into tech requirements they can use. Listen and understand the technical challenges they will bring up. Not all business questions are technically possible. With business teams, you must talk in terms of use case, development time, and project cost. The impact of all tech efforts must answer the question, how does this solve a business question or need? Learn to translate the impact, benefits, and difficulties of technical efforts into business terms. And last, be accessible and approachable. I can't emphasize this enough. Leaders who lead from the front are accessible and approachable to their team members. Technical skill matters, but being accessible and approachable matters even more. You must give them time to ask questions, report blockers, and understand their current project status. And most of all, you must foster a receptive environment that focuses on building trust and credibility. This takes practice and really time to build. Set time aside once a week. Have office hours. Put aside your work for an hour or so per week to listen to their concerns. For individual contributors, it can be frustrating to be working alone on a project without knowing if you have support. Often, you're unsure if you are doing the right things. Setting office hours is a great way to make sure you are accessible and approachable for their needs, ideas, and being able to listen to their feedback. Tech skill doesn't matter much if no one wants to work with you, so take the time to be approachable and work with your workers. Now, the most important part that I'm sure you've all been waiting for, leadership. This part relies heavily on previous parts, which is why I mentioned it last. For data scientists new to team leadership, I suggest that you focus on the following. 1. Follow before you lead. 2. Mentor. 3. Advocate. And 4. Lead, motivate, and inspire. The goal is to guide, not to tell them how to do everything. Give them objectives, the intent behind them, and trust them to execute. As a leader, your goal isn't to mold your workers, but to guide a team in the right direction. Leadership is important, and it goes both ways. Follow before you lead. This is a big one. It means that you should try to understand how your team works before you make changes or set policy. There's 2 ways that you need to understand this. 1 towards your direct reports and towards your management. For direct reports, following before you lead means learning how they currently work and their working style. To improve, you need to listen and observe first. But before making changes, understand current processes, data, and your direct reports. You must let them guide you first. Once you understand fully, then you can make changes. You need to show that you value their work and respect the work processes that they have. When you finally have enough to change processes, make sure to get feedback, especially from the specialists on the team. They may have the experience that you don't, so it's wise to listen. Following your workers before you lead is an effective way to be a good leader. You gain experience and learn from their example. And it's an opportunity to build team cohesion and an advice network that you can rely on in the future. Leaders set the example. If you are willing to follow your workers when it benefits the team, then they are more willing to follow you in a difficult situation. Follow before you lead builds mutual trust and bonds the members of a team. And it also means management. Gain experience and learn from your managers. Try to understand the why behind what they do. They didn't get that far without learning what works. Identify the strengths that help them lead. Learn to follow their asks to gain understanding of their processes and thinking. Look at what they do great and what they can improve. Find good managers that you can respect and emulate them. And remember, adapt these lessons to you. How one manager leads can be incompatible with your personality or your leadership style. Take what works for you and make it your own. Also, learn to know that you won't agree with every decision that your managers make. Understand and use judgment. Know when to stop fighting for something you believe is right. Discuss and advocate your point of view until a decision is made. And then, when it's decided, support the decision wholeheartedly. This sets the example for your own reports. It sets the example it is okay to advocate for your ideas, but it is also important to carry out a decision when it's made. In short, follow before you lead. It teaches you humility, empathy, and leadership skills. And the best part, it builds connections to those who report to you and who you report to. Mentor. Why is mentoring important? It helps your team grow. It improves the quality of work, builds morale, and makes your team cohesion stronger. And it builds a culture of trust and respect between team members. It's important to mentor team members, but it's also important to encourage specialists on a team to mentor each other, including you. Mentorship is a two-way street. The most productive mentor-mentee relationships are mutual. You learn from them and they learn from you. There are different ways you can do this. Quality control. Mentorship is about quality control. It's reviewing and fixing your report's direct work. It's making sure that they're writing clean, efficient, and usable code that answers a business question. Or double-checking their work, presentations, reports, etc. On a high level, it's not just fixing code and moving on. It's really getting them to think about the problems in the code, use cases, or business problems. It's helping them to learn to identify patterns and think about them. The value of code reviews isn't just high-quality code, it's to help them understand. The code review as part of a mentor is about teaching and learning how to build better models and how to think about how they're applied. Let them make mistakes within the boundaries that you set, and use those lessons to push them in the right direction. Now, I'd be missing out if I didn't mention career. Mentorship is also a time to help new grads and junior scientists on your team with their careers. Guide them and help them explore as time allows. Give them tasks that excite them or help them apply the knowledge they learned in school. Help separate theory from practical application. But more importantly, be there to give them career advice. Listen and understand where they want to go. Then try to guide them or create a plan on what to study and steps to get them there. You help them refine their thoughts and their career path. As a leader, it is your responsibility to advocate for your direct reports. Sometimes the key to solving their blockers, it's assistance and advocacy from you. Advocacy is an important step, and important for making sure that the team's morale and motivation remains high, which is really important if you want them to produce more. There's several key things that you ought to advocate for them. Resources. Help reports get the resources they need to finish projects on time. This is a big sticking point for a lot of juniors. They feel stuck without support, and this is where you can come in. Sometimes projects require an extra push and an extra word to get your reports the resources they need to be successful. It helps highlight the importance if there's more than one person pushing to get the job done. Also, make sure to back them up on their concerns or personal needs. For projects, it can be an issue or suggestion to improve a project. This sort of feedback is important, especially since it can affect the project in the long run. It's important to listen and to trust their judgment if they can prove and explain why. For personal needs, it's being able to support them in difficult times. Advocating for their PTO needs or easing their workload at a hard point in their lives matters. It's not about choosing kindness. It's also about respecting them as a human being and treating them as adults and helping them to get what they need for their health and peace of mind. And of course, there's experience. We grow from taking on challenges and interesting projects. Everyone has preferences. Advocate for roles that get them the experience they want and need. Not only does it help them grow, but it gives their work meaning. One of the biggest feedback workers give is that they want to work on something meaningful. Even if it is small, putting the meaningfulness in work matters. It makes the rest of the work meaningful, even if it is repetitive. Advocating is important to establishing trust, which can come in handy when you need to ask more of them later. Also, lead and inspire direct reports. Morale is critical. It makes the difference between a team and a group of people working together. The best ways is to provide feedback and to lead from the front. Feedback is a trap a lot of new data sciences team leaders fall into. They forget to ask. Team leaders need to know how well their team is progressing. Feedback helps team members understand their strengths and areas for improvement, promotes a culture of continuous learning and improvement, and gives the team leader a pulse on the dynamics and opportunities for improvement. Most of all, it builds a culture of communication. Team members used to a team leader providing constructive feedback are more likely to do the same for others. It eases the team dynamic and makes iteration quicker. Overall, you must know how to provide feedback, and it must be specific. Focus on providing context to explain the impact of a person's actions in the larger picture. Also, be timely. It helps the person make the connection and addresses any issues that they may have. This goes for both positive and negative feedback. And remember, feedback isn't always negative. It's also positive. Complimenting for great behaviors is just as important. Reinforcing good habits and behaviors also needs examples. It's important for your direct reports to know both sides, what they are doing great at and what they can improve at. No one can read your mind, so provide constant, consistent, timely, and specific feedback. By doing it the right way, it inspires, motivates, and encourages your team to do it with others. Most of all, lead from the front. Be the example that you wish to set. If a project requires extra hours, be there to help and answer questions. It can be rough to do it, but it builds the confidence of the team in you. It encourages people when the team leader is being proactive. Make sure that you always set a clear vision and direction. Communicate it often, even if you think it's repetitive. It provides a sense of purpose and focus for team members. Sometimes people need a reminder of the direction of a project. Sometimes people need to understand where the project is going. Team members who know the overall goal and intent do better quality work. It lets them take initiative, and it helps them understand where they fit in the larger picture. If they feel like they're a part of building something, they feel like they're a part of being something larger, and that motivates them. And most of all, be decisive. Don't hesitate till things go beyond your control. Decisiveness is important. So much work can be lost by hesitation and waiting for an ideal situation. Constantly assess and observe the situation. Is a team member getting exhausted? Is productivity dropping? Is there a specific bottleneck? And does that bottleneck keep coming up? Take proactive action and relentlessly evaluate. Make a decision about a course of action when it requires it, and know how to explain it. Situations may not always be ideal. You often might be forced to choose between two or more unfavorable choices. A good leader learns to pick the one that causes the least issues and still tries to get the job done. There are times when you can think, and there's times when you need to do. Decisiveness helps you find the balance. And lead by example. Set the expectation early for team members. Spell out the work expectation and standards that you want to have. And most importantly, model it in your daily work. If you want to make a change in your actions first. Your reports imitate your behavior, whether they are aware of it or not. It's up to you to set the standard. This is especially important as a data science team lead. Your team's actions reflect on you, and your actions reflect on the team. Build credibility for your team and for yourself by leading by example. Learning skills. So the important question, how do you learn these skills? I really want to emphasize that this takes time and patience, and a very big willingness to make and learn from your mistakes. No one ever gets it right the first time, and you have to try and experiment to gain insights on how to lead a team well. Strengthen the old fundamentals and review the new ones. Fundamentals are your base, your beginning and your end. Constantly review them. At this stage, review your technical fundamentals. Learn the leadership ones. As a data scientist leading a team, this is the time to learn the fundamentals of leadership and people management. Have two roadmaps, one for reviewing and one for learning. Review and take notes and read to see how you're progressing. And constantly learn. Consume info from a variety of books, podcasts, and articles, not just leadership training books. And you must put up your feet up and think about what you are reading. Think about the conceptual value and how to apply. With strong fundamentals, it makes you a better leader and a better data scientist. And reflect often. You will run into difficult situations. Think about them, both ones you succeeded and failed in. Role play different ways you would have handled it. Think of alternative paths. Assess the weight and benefits of each. This is important if you're making decisions later. Think of ways to improve the response. This is important because it builds frameworks in your head. You learn to recognize and respond quickly, and it trains you to think about options. And it also builds your mental flexibility and helps you pace the past without embarrassment. You may never run into all situations, but having a mental framework in place is very important. Seek people to emulate. It's a natural human tendency and can be a powerful force in shaping your leadership style. This isn't just copying a person, but trying to learn their best traits and from their accomplishments. Understand the why and how of the leadership style and apply it to yourself. This has to go beyond simple imitation. Good people to emulate can be leaders in and outside your company, or even fellow team leaders. A good mix of both can help, since you are exposed to different leadership styles. Culture does affect leadership style, so it's important to emulate people also outside your company. Network with people inside your company and also outside. We often focus on inside a lot. Relationships are at the core of leading new data teams, and you gain valuable perspectives and new people to learn from. Networking inside your company shows your leadership styles in your current culture. Networking outside teaches you new ideas and the ways that others are doing it in and outside your industry. It opens you up to new tech and leadership skills that builds the foundation of your knowledge and gives different perspectives on how to lead, manage, and increase your team's effectiveness. And in conclusion, being a team lead is a hard transition, but if done right, an important milestone in your career. It is at the very beginning. Lessons learned, practiced, and honed here sets the foundation for future management. It's the foundation for your leadership style. Strive to do the small things well. Strive for self-improvement through constant self-evaluation as a team lead. And strive to be the example that you always wish you had as a leader. Do that, and you'll become the bridge and that your team and company can rely on.